for you to leave again.
Clearly.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 action thriller The Bricklayer. The film is directed by Renny Harlin and it stars Aaron Eckhart, Nina Dobrev, Clinton Collins Jr., Tim Blake Nelson, and it focuses on Aaron Eckhart's character, who is an ex-CIA agent, I guess, ex-spy, whatever you want to call him. And he is now plying his trade as a bricklayer, strangely enough. He finds it quite relaxing and therapeutic, and he is essentially strong-armed back into the agency because there is a new threat involving someone from his past that he thought was dead. So he gets called back into action, has to go abroad to track down Clifton Collins Jr.'s character Victor Radek, who is doing bad things, and he is partnered up, Aaron Eckhart, with Nina Dobrev's character. Right, what are my thoughts on The Bricklayer? Well, what we have here really is a mid-level, reasonably budgeted action film that does one part of the film really, really well and another part of the film pretty terribly. And the terrible part of the film really is just its incredibly dull story, unoriginal. It's like every action flick you've ever seen that is remotely anything like this. The retired agent that's brought back into active duty to track down someone who's close to him he thought he'd killed, and teamed with kind of like a rookie agent, and you don't know who's the bad guy, who's not the bad guy, and he doesn't play by the rules. I mean, it's literally like an AI script, this, to a large degree. It's literally like they've tapped in a few buttons on an AI script machine, clicked return, and this is vomited out. And it's a shame. It really is a shame, because despite the dull story, what you've got here is Aaron Eckhart, who's a charismatic lead here. I've been really quite impressed with Aaron Eckhart's work these last couple of years. He doesn't do a lot of cinema releases anymore. Occasionally, obviously, he does, but it's usually as a character actor. It's not as a lead generally now. And the last few that I've seen of him in, is the best thing in the film by far. Always committed, always gives a good solid performance, and this film is no different. However, I have seen him do action films. I don't think I've seen him do one as competently as this. The fight choreography is pretty good here. The fight scenes, the hand-to-hand stuff is hard hitting. It's brutal. It's well choreographed, and it's fully committed by Aaron Eckhart, who, for the most part, I suspect, did a lot of his own stunt work and stuff, certainly in regards to the hand-to-hand stuff and that kind of stuff. And you can tell that at times it reminds you a little bit of John Wick, because these aren't like fight scenes that he just kind of mows through people and comes out the other side with hardly a scratch on him. He gets battered and bruised in a lot of these fight scenes. He is absolutely gets utterly battered occasionally in some of these fight scenes, and some of them he mows through 2, 3, 4 guys fairly easily, but it's almost like a video game. He mow through the low level characters, and then you get to a boss and it's he's much more difficult, and that's what this film feels like for Aaron Eckhart's character. He mows through the little guys, and then he gets to a boss and it's a full on brawl. And he barely gets through with the skin of his teeth. and I really liked that. You know what I mean? It was hard hitting and impactful stuff, the hand-to-hand stuff, and the action scenes, you know, were all done, I think, competently well. The driving stuff was decent, apart from some dodgy CGI where you can tell they're not driving. There is the gunplay and stuff is all done particularly well, and it's just all dragged down by substandard dialogue and a dull and uninspired story. And I think if a little bit more effort had been put into this, to give us some level of originality, it really would have elevated this film, I think, to a much higher quality. Because it is a shame. Obviously you've got Rennie Harlan here on board, who is a veteran when it comes to directing action movies. He's done Cliffhanger, the Die Hard 2, I think he did, things like that. He's done so many good action films over the years. Long Kiss Goodnight, I think he did as well, I might be wrong. So he's, you know, he knows what he's doing, and he only kind of does these days like these mid-budgeted type of films, but you know, he's still got an eye for action. He still manages to make it flow and stuff like that, and he manages to keep your attention in those moments in the film. I just wish they hadn't gone into production with such a poor story and a poor script. It offers nothing interesting outside really of the action stuff. There's no surprises, there's no twists, there's no red herrings, there's nothing original. You could even argue that, you know, because of the high standard of some of the action films that we get these days, you know, that are kind of made by stuntmen, and many of the cast are stuntmen, sort of thing, hence, you know, the John Wicks and all this kind of stuff. You could argue that, you know, the action is, you know, fairly unoriginal, but it's well done, and I really appreciate that. And easily the best part of the film was the fight scenes and the action scenes. They were well done and they held my attention. The rest of the film, forget about it. So if you're not too worried about watching an action film, and you're not that worried about an overly complex story or anything like that, you just want a very, very bog standard action story with good, well-made action sequences and a charismatic lead, you know, you probably do alright with this one. I didn't dislike this film, I just knew it could have been much better, and we could have had a much better film, a bit more effort had gone into it. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.